So you're interested in learning how to play pop music on the piano. Well, your piano teacher Tim has you covered, because today I'm going to show you a chord pattern that's literally used in hundreds, if not thousands, of pop songs. So if you really get this down, you're going to be able to learn those pieces a lot better. Breaking down the lesson, first I'm going to explain what the chord pattern is. Next I'm going to show you that pattern in the key of C, the easiest of all keys it can appear in. And then I'm going to show you how to transpose, or how to play the pattern in different keys, because a lot of times you're going to have pieces in other keys in the key of C. And then we're going to wrap up the lesson after that, because I'm going to demonstrate how this pattern is actually going to help you play pop music. So let's get started. Now, what is the pop song chord progression? Well, let me show you on the pattern here, on the keyboard here. Okay, so here's how we're going to learn it first. We're going to learn it in the key of C. And the first thing you want to do is you want to play a C major chord. Then you want to go to a G major chord. You want to go to an A minor chord. And then go to an F major chord. Now, why is this progression of chords, C major, G major, A minor, and then F major, why is that so good for pop music? Well, it uses majors, but they sneak in a minor chord in there. And if you think about it, pop music a lot of times has a very kind of mixed, melancholy kind of feel. It's usually not all happy feelings, not all sad feelings. It's a mixture of the bunch. So if you think about it, this chord progression perfectly exemplifies that. So practice the progression over and over again in the key of C, because you really want to get it down in one key first before you start branching out. Okay, before I'm going to explain how to play this in different keys, I want to explain a little bit of the theory behind this. Now, if you don't understand everything I'm talking about, it's totally fine, but it is really important to understand. I'm going to do my best to make this as simple as possible. So for every key, right, a key tells you what? It tells you what sharps are flat throughout a piece, and consistently, right? So if you have an F sharp in your key signature, all Fs in the entire piece are sharped, unless it tells you otherwise. So that's how a key works. Now, if you put all the notes of a key in order from the starting note, so if you're in the key of A, you're going to start on A, and you play all the notes in between, including any sharps or flats you may need, we call that a scale. So that's the A major scale. We're going to bring it back to C major for a second. The C major scale is the easiest one to understand, because it's just from one C to the next C with all the white keys in between. And why is that? Well, the definition of the key of C major is that it has no sharps, no flats. So you don't have to worry about a single thing. And that's one of the reasons we teach you about the key of C first. So there are 8 total notes in this scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. However, the beginning and last note, we usually don't call this 8, we call it 1 again, because it's actually literally the same note. So really you have 7 individual notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then it repeats 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like that, because first and last one are the same. Now, 7 notes, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You can build a chord on each of these notes, and that will give you all of the chords that exist in a certain key. This is really useful in not only playing this progression that I'm showing you, but writing music as well. Because what a progression is it will use these chords I just showed you, but it will use them in a certain order repeated over and over again. And that's what a chord progression is. So this chord progression specifically, the pop song one, is the first chord is what we call a 1 chord. It's built on the first note of the scale. The next chord is a 5 chord, meaning that we go 5 notes, 3, 4, 5 notes up the C major scale, or whatever scale you're in. You play that note, and hey, that's our progression so far. C major, G major. If you remember, the next chord was A minor. That is 6 notes up the scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we call that the 6th chord. It happens to be minor. And then we go to the 4 chord, which happens to be major. So 1, 5, 6, 4. Now, why did I explain all that? What was the point of going through the theory behind it? Well, once you understand the theory behind it and how the chords are constructed, you can begin playing this in pretty much any key. Now, it does help to know your key signatures really well because you will have to have the sharps and flats in the chords to have it work right. But let me show you in the key of G. The key of G is the perfect key to show next because it only has one sharp, and that's the next to last note, F sharp. So now let's play the 1, 5, 6, 4, also known as the pop song chord progression, in the key of G. Now here's the thing. This changes everything, changing key, because your starting note now is G, which makes that chord the 1 chord now. So now the G chord before was the 5 chord in the key of C. So you just got to be careful that you're shifting gears here. You're really counting now from a totally different note. So be aware of that. So you got G major. Now we got to go up to 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. D major. E minor. Now it's not E major because we don't have a G sharp in the key signature. And the 4 or the 5 chord did have one because you have an F sharp. So there's a 5 chord. You got the 6 chord back to 4. So G, D, E minor, back to C. So that's it in the key of G. Let's together figure it out, this pattern in the key of D. And this will be the last one, and then I'll show you something different. If you're finding this lesson helpful so far, make sure you smash that like button because it lets other students know that this is a quality lesson that they can learn from as well. All right, on with the lesson. Okay, the key of D. Now the thing I'm just going to tell you right up front about the key of D, it has 2 sharps, F sharp, and C sharp. So you got to be careful that when you construct the chords, if they have an F or a C in them, you have them sharped appropriately. So you have your first chord built on the first note. What's our next chord going to be? It's going to be 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it's going to be a major chord. So D, A. Then we got to go to 6. You just go up 1 note. And then we got to play 4, that major. So in the key of D, it's D, A major, B minor, G major. So try playing this progression in at least those 3 keys. If you really have a good understanding of the theory behind it that I talked about, try playing it in literally every key that you can think of. So like the key of B flat or any of the other ones that we haven't done. And try to learn as many keys as you can because you're going to find pop pieces or pop songs that are in those keys and you want to be prepared for that. Okay, now it's time to tie everything I taught you together, and I'm going to actually show you how learning this progression is going to actually help you learn pop music. So let's get started. Okay, so here we have the song Soul to Squeeze, and it happened to be in the movie Coneheads, but it is actually by the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Took me a second to remember that. Now, the one thing to keep in mind a lot of times is pieces will have an introduction, like the first 2, maybe 3, maybe 4 lines, where the progression of the song doesn't really fit. It's really, you're really going to find a different progression in the beginning. So what I'm going to do is after the intro here, where the real song comes in, I'm going to show you we have a progression down here. And luckily, in a lot of this music, this pop music, they actually write in what the chords are. Okay, so in the opening, you have this F chord here. F major. So we have 1 flat in our key signature. Now, knowing what your key signatures are is a whole different lesson, but I'm going to give you the answer that we're in the key of F. So if we're in the key of F and our chord is F, that's our 1 chord, right? So let's figure out the progression really quick in the key of F. So 1, now we need to go to 5, right? You're going up 5 notes in the F scale. So there's 5. You're going to 6, you just go up 1 note, pretty simple. And then you go back to 4. Now you got to be careful because there is a B flat in our key signature. So F major, C major, D minor, and then B flat major. Gee, that should look awfully familiar, right? Because that's literally what we were looking at right here with this bottom line, F major. And then C major, minor, and then B flat major. Oh geez, I remember this song a lot from the 90s. And then D minor, and then F major again. Wait, so we've repeated the progression. So what you're going to find a lot, and then C major there, what you're going to find a lot is that these progressions repeat over and over again throughout the piece. So here we have Out of the Woods. And if you notice right in the beginning, you're going to see this a lot in pop music. It says NC. Now, what in the world is NC? We don't know any chords like that. That just means no chord. There's not really any specific chord that's being used right there. However, I do think it kind of outlines a C major chord. So the first thing we need to do is kind of ignore the intro because that's not going to be using any chords. The real piece just starts really at the third measure right there where the C major chord comes in right there. And after that, what kind of chords might we expect? The first thing we need to do is figure out what key that we're in. So we have no sharps, no flats. And hey, that makes things really easy for us because that's the key of C. It could be an A minor, but taking a look at the first chord of the piece, it's a C major chord, which if you don't know, 99% of the time, the first and last chord of the piece are going to be whatever key you're in. So really easy. Let's figure out what this progression is going to be. We actually already did it. C major, G major we're going to expect next. We got A minor, and then F major. That's the first one we did today. So let's take a look at the example and see if we have that. Well, after the intro, we have a C major chord here. So that checks out. And now in the next measure, there's nothing written here. That means you're using the same chord as the measure before. Now we got a G chord, so that checks out. Now let's check out, what are we going to expect next in the chord? We're going to expect an A minor chord. Oh, look at that. Got him. You got A minor right here. Oh, hey, and then back to F major, which is our 4 chord. So we've completed the progression. And hey, look at this. We actually start kind of a new phrase here at the bottom. And we start the chord progression all over again. And then you'd probably expect the next chord in the next page, which I don't have with me, to be a G major chord, which I'm 99% sure it is. So as you can see that these chords are literally used in these pieces. So the more familiar that you become with playing them, especially in different keys, you're going to be so much better equipped to actually playing these pieces because half of the work is going to kind of be done for you. A little less than half because you got to do the rhythms and things, but half of the note work is done for you. So it's really, really going to save you a lot of time to become familiar with not only this pop song chord progression, but whatever genre you're trying to learn, some rock song chord progressions, things like that. To understand more about how chord progressions and music theory works, highly recommend you check out this playlist right here. Also check out some of the other lessons we have on the channel. It can help you learn a lot about playing piano and music. So thanks for coming out today. It's been your piano teacher, Tim, here. And I'll see you in the next lesson.